My name is Pallavi Shedge. I am from Shedge Institute of Applied Art. Today I will be presenting my graduation project of type designing, which was done under the guidance of my professor, Santosh Shirsagar. So first of all, I would like to thank him for his guidance. Now moving to the presentation. So here is a typeface Chhapaa. The literal meaning of word Chhapaa is print or impression. If the same content has to be printed over and over again on the different places, then the easiest method is to make stencil of that content. And this method is being used since a long time. Now, before explaining the structure and formation of Chhapaa, I would like to explain the process of how and why I chose this topic. So as we know, Mumbai is known as a city of dreams. And there are millions of people daily travel to their workplaces by local transport services. These transport vehicles have information panels to guide the passengers. As Marathi and Hindi are the primary languages of Mumbai, all the notices are predominantly written in Devanagari and also in Latin wherever required. So while traveling by a local bus in Mumbai, I saw this image on the backside of it. And I wondered why 3 different fonts were used for the same content at the same place. And if we notice further, even though 3 fonts used, none of them was found to be perfectly legible. And then I found there is no standard type used for all these notices. So I researched whether there is any stencil font available for Devanagari. And strangely, I found more than 100 Latin fonts available, but sadly not a single Devanagari. So I decided to find a better solution of this situation through my project. Okay. So before designing a complete new typeface, it was necessary to study the existing information panels and stencils used for them. So I began my research from the painting department of BEST bus depot. And what I found is that all the bus numbers and destination names are screen printed on the cloths on one depot and then distributed to other depots in Mumbai. Along with those screen printed cloths, I also found some notices printed on silver stickers which could serve purpose better than stencil. But further research explained that it is not possible to paste those stickers on all surfaces. Also, messages printed on these surfaces fades away after some time because of the continuous exposure to sunlight. So the traditional method of using stencil is the only solution for better result and the long lasting. So when I asked about the fonts currently used for stencil, they fail to respond wisely because sometimes they take a random font or prefer doing it manually and then create a stencil by leaving spaces on random intervals, probably without thinking the structure or the structural beauty or the readability of letter. Hence, Chhapaa is an attempt to make a standard font available for stencil. So initially, both the monolinear and calligraphic, that is traditional Devanagari letter form, were used as a base font to try for a stencil. And then eventually, calligraphic letter forms were finalized by taking into consideration the aesthetic and traditional value of Devanagari script and also to overcome the readability issue. Now, while starting with the letter formation, it was necessary to decide where the cuts or bridges should be given. As the calligraphic letter form has contrast of thick and thin stroke in a single letter, bridges were decided to give on a thin stroke, so that even if the thin stroke gets omitted, it will appear as a continuous stroke even from the distance, which will not affect the shape, identity, and the readability of letter. Then all the parts were arranged in such a way that the letter will look proportionate even after eliminating its strokes. Then similarly, the other letter forms were developed with deliberate bridges made on the thin strokes. While developing each letter, lots and lots of sketches were done, and after working on structure and construction of each letter form, all the letters were balanced equally. And then I finally came up with a whole set of vowels, consonants, numericals, and matras. Since the project is in progressive stage, only the limited number of conjuncts which are used very commonly are designed. Here we can see the structure of Chhapaa with guidelines. Now talking about the material used for stencil. So basically the material used for stencil should be long lasting, as there are very delicate bridges made between letters and words. Hence metal stencils are preferable. But as we see, surfaces of these vehicles are not plain, so hard material cannot be used as a stencil. They currently use brown oil paper, which is hard but not long lasting. So thick Tyvek paper, which is suggested, which is soft, easy to mold or wrap over any uneven surfaces, as well as it is non-tearable. Now here you can see the application process of stencil on primary level, and when the same content is placed on the bus, the difference could be seen. Similarly, the following images, you can see the difference between existing letter forms and the proposed letter forms. Here you can see the application process of stencil. Also here are some more applications of Chhapaa. We can write it on milestones, public walls, signages, etc. So concluding my paper with the thought that as a designer or a typographer, it is our responsibility to make people aware about the sensitivity of script. And my ultimate goal lies in creating a functional font with an expectation to use this font in all the public transport vehicles of Mumbai. If the same font is seen wherever the stencils are used, then there will be uniform identity of the city. Hence, Chhapaa is an attempt of solving all the current issues regarding stencil and standardizing the random usage of font. Lastly, I would like to thank all the people who have helped me throughout the project. Thank you.